Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of our podcast, Learn English with Fun. Today, we are going to have a great time learning English together. Are you ready? I hope you are because today's episode is full of fun stories, questions, and simple English to help you learn and enjoy at the same time. Let's start with a little warm-up. Are you sitting comfortably? Maybe you have a nice cup of tea or coffee. Or perhaps you're listening while walking outside. Whatever you're doing, I'm glad you're here with me today. Let me tell you a funny story to start things off. Once upon a time, there was a man who had a dog. But this was not just any dog, it was a talking dog. Can you imagine that? A dog that can talk. One day, the man took his dog to a talent show. The host of the show looked at the man and said, "What's the talent?" The man smiled and said, "My dog can talk." The audience laughed. They didn't believe it. But then, the man asked his dog, "What's on top of a house?" The dog said, "Roof." The audience was surprised. The man then asked, "What's the outside of a tree called?" The dog said, "Bark." The audience couldn't believe their ears. Finally, the man asked, "Who's the best baseball player of all time?" The dog said, "Ruth," as in Babe Ruth. But guess what? The audience didn't clap. They thought it was all a joke. They thought the dog was just barking and making sounds, not really talking. So, the man and his dog went home without any prize. On their way home, the dog looked up at the man and said, "You think I should have said someone else." Isn't that a funny story? Now, let me ask you, if you had a talking dog, what would you ask it? Take a moment to think about it. Maybe you would ask it about its favorite food or what it thinks of cats. You see, when we learn English, it's important to use our imagination and have fun. That's what makes learning easier and more enjoyable. Now, let's talk about something that can be a bit tricky when learning English. Have you ever mixed up words that sound the same but have different meanings? It happens to everyone. These words are called homophones. For example, the words there, and there. Do you know the difference? Let me explain it to you. There is used to talk about a place. For example, the book is over there. There shows that something belongs to someone. For example, that is their car. There is short for they are. For example, they are going to the park. Let me tell you another funny story. This one is about a man named Tom who is very forgetful. Do you know someone who forgets things all the time? Maybe it's you. Tom wakes up one morning and decides to make breakfast. He goes to the kitchen and starts making toast. But guess what? He forgets to put bread in the toaster. He's waiting and nothing happens. Finally, he realizes there's no bread in the toaster. After that, he decides to make some coffee. He pours water into the coffee machine, adds coffee, and waits. But nothing happens. He forgot to plug in the coffee machine. Poor Tom, right? Finally, Tom gets dressed and is ready to leave the house. But just as he's about to walk out the door, he realizes something's missing. His shoes. He forgot to put on his shoes. So, he runs back inside, finds his shoes, and finally, he's ready to go. Now, I have a question for you. Have you ever forgotten something important? Maybe you forgot your keys, your phone, or even what day it was. It happens to all of us, so don't worry. But here's a tip. If you ever forget something, just laugh it off and keep going. Life is too short to be serious all the time. Now, let's talk about something very important: positive thinking. Learning English, or anything new, can be difficult. Sometimes you might feel like giving up. But I'm here to tell you that you can do it. You just need to believe in yourself. Here's a little exercise for you. Close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking English fluently. Imagine having a conversation with someone, and you understand everything they say. How does it feel? It feels good, right? That's because positive thinking can help you achieve your goals. Every time you feel discouraged, just remember this: you are learning. You are improving. And you are getting closer to your goal every day. So keep going, and don't give up. Before we end today's episode, I have some questions for you. Think about your answers, and if you want, you can say them out loud. What is your favorite English word? Why do you like it? What do you find most challenging about learning English? Who do you practice your English with? A friend, a family member, or maybe just by yourself? What's something funny that happened to you while learning English? These questions are just for you to think about. It's important to reflect on your learning journey and see how far you've come. Remember, learning English doesn't have to be boring. It can be fun, entertaining, and full of laughter. So keep practicing, keep smiling, and most importantly, keep enjoying the process. Thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Until then, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to smile. Bye for now.